Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Learn more about the Experience community at our website, local.theexperience.video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Experience is brought to you each week by these great sponsors. The Aspects of Aging weekly talk show with Christine A. Smith. Each Monday at noon Central, Christine hosts unscripted conversations with experts. Learn more at agingbetternetwork.com. The Parakeet Drawing, You Are Worthy, is a book by Gina DeFay. This book is a powerful memoir about the ripple effects of a small act of kindness. The Parakeet Drawing, You Are Worthy, is available on Amazon. Nancy Bakke invests Entrepreneur Solutions, revealing the key ingredients to skyrocket business profits with proven strategies and tactics. Call Nancy at 514-895-1572, online bestentrepreneurSolutions.com. Albany Area Habitat for Humanity, since 1993, dedicated to building low-cost homes by forming partnerships with families. Get involved today on the web at albanyareahfh.org. And now, let's get on with the show.
Let's get on with the show. Here we are. Welcome, everybody, to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott, here every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time and 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time. Always a blessing to be with you, Scott. How are you doing?
Yeah, I was just on with the show. I was just thinking about the Looney Tunes introduction with all the characters running by. This is it, the day of days, the night of nights. Russ, it's always a fun time to hang out with you. I love it when we can be together live and have coffee together. But since we get to do it digitally, well, that's fun too.
Yes, well, I'm so thankful for that, because nowadays with you being in Waco, I don't get to have coffee with you as much anymore. So we just have to have virtual coffee more often. So anyway, so blessed to be here. I was thinking this morning, Scott, that as we go through life, we can lift each other up and build each other up, or we can tear each other down. And, we're here on The Experience Live with Russ and Scott to talk about the experience of life with amazing people like Isabel today, and talk about building people up. I was reading in Romans this morning, actually, about that exact thing, and that is encouraging people, building people up. And wouldn't life be so much better if we spent more energy on that than the other side, right, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just encouraging to see what can happen when you give somebody a positive word. There was actually a commercial, an insurance commercial, I think it was a number of years ago, where someone holds the door open for someone else and someone sees that, and then they go and they do an act of kindness and it gets seen and it just cascades through. So those little acts that you think may be insignificant, you just don't know how important it might be in someone's life that they just thought, wow, someone held the door open for me. How kind.
Well, that is interesting that you bring that up, because it makes me, I always try to do that. Okay. It doesn't mean I always do, but I always try to do that. And when the other day this happened, it made me think, when somebody slams the door in my face, when they know that I'm right behind them, it makes me all the more want to really make a big effort to let the next person through. In fact, I will open the door and wait a few seconds for the next person to go and let them walk through first, just because I'm thinking to myself, even though I can live through that, you know me, Scott, I'm upbeat, I'll make it through it. But for a second, it's thinking, you're like, oh, great, thanks, buddy. You're just like, slam the door in my face, and you knew I was right behind you.
But yeah. Russ, this might be a good topic for Russ Reels, just little acts of kindness. And we bring a number of people in and be able to share about what it means to just wait for a moment and hold that door for somebody, or if you're in the store, somebody that's reaching for something on the top shelf, just ask if you can help them. You don't need to jump in and do it. And just yes, be kind. Just little bits of courtesy. One of the things is when you meet somebody, stand up and shake their hand. You don't need to stay sitting. There's something a little more elegant about standing up. But speaking of the Russ Reels show on Thursday, you have one coming up that's I get to be a guest on.
Yes, and you're a recurring guest because we love to have you on. I just got to tell you one quick thing, and that is this sign is from my good friend Andrea Sanchez. Every Wednesday, everybody, just gonna throw this out there. 5:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. She has Acts of Kindness show. It's 15 minutes, it's 15 minutes of kindness is what it's called. And Andrea Sanchez is an amazing, kind person. Met her at Perspectives on Cancer with Tim Sohn. We may talk more about that. But anyway, the whole point is, love that 15 minutes of kindness. And I was there this morning. Always type it in. It makes you think about it. So jumping from that to how we can be kind and still use AI. How's that for a transition?
I love that. That's Thursday. Good. That's very smooth.
That's it. Well, this Thursday, we're going to be talking about AI. And you know what? So many people are scared of what's going on, but we're going to talk about the advantages and how it can be a tool and how it can be a blessing and how you can work around the things that maybe are the negatives and focus on the positives of AI. And it's an amazing group of panelists, including Mr. D. Scott Smith. Oops, that way. There you go. Including you. Yeah, it's going to be so good. You don't want to miss it. It's 4 p.m.
Is going to join us. Quite a number of people. And when I shared the post out about the slide that Ever made promoting this event coming up on Thursday, and please everyone tune in on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, wherever you want to watch and participate. But I said, do you have questions about AI? So do we. Join in.
Exactly. Well, that's just it. I mean, everybody is figuring it out, right? That is what it is really all about. Everybody's figuring it out. And it's okay if you don't have all the answers. It just means that you're just like everybody else, trying to figure out where things are at and how you're going to utilize it, right? Or how you're going to get around what people think are so negative. And I just think today, we just need to quit being so afraid of things, push fear aside. Yeah, get out there. So anyway, Scott, we're having such a great conversation, but we got to say one more thing, and then we got to get our guest in because Isabel's ready to go. And she's back there going, man, guys, am I ever coming in? So listen, I just want to thank all of our sponsors who are amazing sponsors today. And you don't need to mention them all because we left them there on the bottom for you to see right now. But I do want to mention a special sponsor of a lot of our shows, including the Experience Local Live with Russ and Scott coming up this month. And that is, or it's actually the Experience coming up this next month. This show is Perspectives on Cancer. The reason I bring that up is because Tim Sohn has the live conference coming up on October 3rd through 5th. Want to tell you, everybody has connections to cancer. Everybody has a reason to come to this conference. If you cannot come, donate and send more. Go to perspectivesoncancer.com and send somebody else to the conference because it is an amazing group of people that support each other, get education, and also pray and bless each other. There's so many reasons that you should come. So I just want to remind everybody, October 3rd through 5th, there'll be a sponsor starting next week, and just appreciate them, Scott. And with that,
let's bring in our guest.
Let's do it. All right, here she is, Isabel. Woo!
Yay! Hello, Good morning.
How you doing, Isabel?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing so good, so good. Hey, we're going to start with the basics for you today. This is a tough question, right? So the question is, who is Isabel and what in the world are you up to? Give us a little insight.
So I'm Isabel Melgarejo. I'm a lot of things, and I think that's important to acknowledge because a lot of the times we just put ourselves in one single box. So some of the things that I do, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, which a lot of people are. And what I do for a living is that I help family caregivers and retirees figure out care. So either for themselves, for someone they love. I experienced that myself. I became a caregiver when I was 20. My dad passed away suddenly. And definitely it was a very overwhelming time in my life. I lost myself completely because I was just turning off fires all the time, every single day, trying to figure out life. And I don't know about you, but at 20, I think I was very immature. And today, when I moved to Texas in particular, I noticed and I became aware that my mom was aging. And I definitely didn't want that happen to me again. So I started doing research and I noticed that there was really not a lot of support for caregivers. There is a lot of help, there is a lot of support for the patient, but there is really not support for the caregiver. We sort of forget that the caregiver is there and that they have needs as well. And they're losing themselves in the process of helping their loved one. So I wanted to do something for the caregiver. I wanted to bring them hope that they're not alone. I wanted to bring resources to them and making sure that they prioritize themselves as well. Yes, their loved one is important, but they are also important. So that is a little bit about myself.
And one of the issues with helping caregivers out is finding a way to fit into their schedule, because sometimes they're so busy. It's not that they don't want to participate in different programs or be involved in self-care, but they can't set aside half a day or even maybe an hour. How do you help people find the time to do this?
A lot of it is trial and error. So, for example, I launched a program, and the program is not a program, it is a lab, because it's about experimentation. And that part of experimentation is getting to know where you're at and what you can do about your life. And many times what you give yourself, it's not a full day or half a day. Maybe it is just 5 minutes of enjoying your coffee. And you were talking about coffee earlier today. So it is about actually being conscious about drinking your coffee and not drinking your coffee to fuel and get energy and keep the day going, but actually sitting down, enjoying coffee and being conscious about that. So it can be a lot of things. And there's people who don't like coffee, so maybe that doesn't work for them. So what works for you?
Or just taking a moment on the front porch maybe and just watching the flowers or people walk by, or just taking a moment, right? And just being reflective, I think is really what you're saying. It's not the coffee, it's that time of reflection.
And for everybody, it's something different. So for somebody else might be maybe just going out and sprinting, or calling a friend and joking, or watching a funny reel, or watching puppies on YouTube because they're cute. So it can be so many different things for everybody, but you have to be aware of what fills your cup every day.
Well, I think that's so important, because when you're stuck in a situation where it is really hard, and being a caregiver is really hard, let's face it. I mean, you have to really choose that good perspective and look at the bright side of life and look at the positives to whatever, like you said, fills your cup is so important. I know that when my mama was going through Alzheimer's and I spent time with her, what worked for me and for her was to just laugh, sing, and have a good time, even though she had no idea what we were laughing and singing about half the time. But she was happy and joyful. I used to take these #happy moments with mama videos and turn those into a little reel that I shared with caregivers that were having a rough time. And they saw that it was possible to have joy, and they were encouraged and inspired in the midst of their situation, because I was going through a similar situation as them. And I think a lot of times we need to look at that, because we just get so bogged down, right, Isabel?
It's definitely a lot about mindset. And you can have everything in life and still be sad and depressed. Or you can choose to be happy with what you have and enjoy those moments like you did. Let's laugh, let's dance, and let's have fun. So how you perceive life, and I love that my husband is always saying your reality is your perception, because it's very true. If you're perceiving that you're happy and you're enjoying the moment, then you're going to enjoy the moment. You're going to find something that you like and do something about it. On the other hand, if you're hating it and you're just like, I don't want to be a caregiver and I hate this and I have no support, you can totally focus on that, and that's what you're going to get back.
Yeah, it is amazing how our focus drives our actions as well. And you just sent me a message a couple of weeks ago that you had launched a cohort with your program, and you were celebrating your mother's 80th birthday.
Yes.
Tell us about these. Tell us about this.
Well, my mom is turning 80 in February, but planning a trip with so many kids, it's hard. So we decided to do it over the summer when all the kids are off school.
Smart.
So we went to Cabo and we had a wonderful time there. I really enjoyed it because I think the last time we got to travel, all of us together, it was probably 20 years ago. Or 24 years ago. It's been such a long time. So actually going on a trip and having dinner, like all of us, it was so amazing. And we had this sunset cruise that stunning. So yeah, that happened during the summer, and I launched a cohort to help going through the program that I go with the people. I usually work with people on 5 different aspects in life. And I noticed that working one-on-one with clients, they still needed additional support from other people. So I decided to launch a cohort in June with caregivers and retirees. I decided to mix everybody in the same place.
Yeah.
And I really like the experience because the cohort was really, really nice. Everybody was participating all the time and they were sharing experiences and feedback. I love that some people were proposing things I would have never think about. Someone proposed to somebody else to use a satellite phone to get signal while she was on the farm helping her dad. So I would have never thought about a satellite phone. I don't know about you guys, but not me.
Never.
Yeah.
So I like that component of, hey, these are different options. And again, it is a lab. So try different things and see what works for you and what doesn't. And another component that I really liked is that they got perspectives from both sides. So retirees got the perspective of their kids and the kids got the perspective of their parents. So bridging what they would like from each other was really good because it gives you a layer of trying and testing before you actually go and have that conversation, which is one of the key components of the lab, is how to have difficult conversations. So if I'm not sure, because you already know that it's going to be a hard conversation. So having that perspective from the other side, it's really nice to have the perspective like, hey, I don't want you walking anymore. That's not going to come good for anybody. So having the perspective, how can you come? So you have that back and forth and a layer of support of just testing and seeing if it's going to work or not. So I like that about it as well.
Well, this is what I love, is this whole idea of not just standing still, but actually taking action and putting it in an environment where you can try things out and see what works for you. Because just like you're talking about, Isabel, we're all different, right? And different things work for each one of us. And there's not one cookie cutter way to solve all the issues. And so or everything that's going on. And I think that this is such an important area. People don't realize how difficult it is to be a caregiver. Put it in terms of one of the most difficult things you've ever accomplished in your life or you've ever had to go through. And that's probably where you throw in the caregivers. It is such a difficult thing. But your perspective drives, just like Scott was saying, the way you focus, the perspective you have drives really your experience. Is it a good experience or a bad experience? And I, for example, looked at people going through the same thing I was going through that were, like you said, Isabel, depressed and really having a rough time. I was having one of the best times of my life with my mama as she was going through Alzheimer's, because I was over there enjoying life and living for what she was able to do. Laugh and sing. We did a thing called Lappin' and Laughin'. We would do circles in her memory care, walk around the hallways, and we would laugh and sing and take little videos. That was just something that was happy and worked for us, right? So I think that that's what's so important, is to focus what works for you, what fills your cup, as you said. And this experimentation and this lab you're talking about, I think that's amazing. Great job.
Thank you.
You bet.
So I was just going to put, Isabel, I was just going to put you on the spot a moment and have you list out those 5 areas of focus, because, I was thinking back to my coaches back in the high school athletic days, and my coach would say, the body follows the head and the head follows the eyes. So it is what you're looking at. So tell us about these 5 areas of focus.
As you mentioned, the eyes is where it all starts, where you have your vision. And I think I know when you become a caregiver, you don't have a vision. It's just like it happened. You go to the doctor's office and it just happened. You have to deal with it. So there is absolutely no vision. And I think that's one of the reasons why it is so hard to be a caregiver, because when you are anything else, when you're planning a trip, when you're planning retirement, when you're planning college, when you're planning your career, you have a vision of where you want to go, or at least I would hope people have that vision. But when you're a caregiver, you don't have that vision. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know nothing. It's just like, hey, now you're responsible. So I start with that. I start with understanding what is your vision of this journey, what you're willing and what you're not willing to do. And once you have very clear, hey, I'm not going to be changing diapers, that is completely fine. Maybe you're good with that, but what are your non-negotiables? And having a very clear vision that will set the tone for everything else that you need. So that is the first step. The second step is planning and getting to where you are. So what are the things that you need to have? I think a lot of the times we just go through life and we don't plan for things. And that happened to me not that long ago. The electric power was cut from home and I worked from home. So eventually it was like, I don't have internet. The lights are off. What happened? It turns out that my husband, for whatever reason, forgot to pay the electric bill. And I didn't know how to fix that. So it took me about an hour to figure out where the electric bill was, call the place, give all my husband's information so they would allow my name to be in the account, pay the bill, and then it took another hour to restore the electric power. So that happened to me not that long ago. So if you don't have these things planned, you just keep stumbling upon everything. So at least if you have the big decisions taken, it's easier going through the rest of it. And then one of the biggest components is having difficult conversations, because you have everything planned. You know exactly what you want, how you want it, but then you never communicate it. So there's when things happen, people don't know how to treat you, what to give you, because decisions were not made. And the final two is about creating community. So you have a community that supports you, and it doesn't necessarily has to be a support community. It can be people that you like, that you go out hiking with, or you go paint. I don't know. It can be a different, like, again, it depends on what you like, but it's creating community around the things that you like. And that takes me to the last step, which is, how do you fill yourself? How you fill your cup every day? And it is with people, the people that you surround, and things that you do for yourself. Because I've heard about caregivers that they forget about their favorite flowers because they keep buying their mom's favorite flowers. And eventually they forget what their favorite flowers are. So buy 80% of the time the flowers that your mom loves, and 20% the flowers that you love, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love those steps for sure. I love that, especially when it comes to communication and community. I think it's so important. And I believe that I always say we're better together when we come together and support each other. I think that helps us to find what fills our cup and fill that last thing. Because if we don't fill ourselves up, if we don't, we talk a lot about self-care today, Isabel. If we don't take care of ourselves, how can we take care of somebody else, right? And I just want to tell you one thing you said was, figuring what is our non-negotiables, what can we do and what can't we do. Personally, I think a lot of us, and I know I was in this group, are not made to be full-time caregivers. What I mean by that is doing all the steps, changing diapers, taking showers, doing all these things, that need to be done. I could do my part as a caregiver. I helped mama take her medication. I did certain things, right? But I also had a part-time caregiver because I couldn't be there 24/7. And at the end of things with my father, when my dad passed away, when they early on moved into senior care, I had a 20-year-old caregiver that I hired to come in to add the support on top of what we were already doing. And she looked at me and she could see the situation. And she said to me, Mr. Hedge, relax, sit down, take a deep breath. She goes, you be the son and you love your dad, and let us be the caregivers now. And they took care of all the needs at that moment, the physical needs, the stuff that needed to happen. And they let me come in and just pray with my dad and love my dad and be that part of it. That was my portion of that caregiving at the moment. And I think we need to understand, like you said before, where we are. So their communication to me, the community of the different people working together and helping with that, I think is vital. And so I love those steps and all that you're about. We are actually getting close to wrapping up the show today. I've got to be the responsible host and ask you to give us your gold nugget of the day. What do I mean by that? Well, what is the most important thing of today's conversation you want people to remember? And then let people know how they get in touch with you, because I think that it's important for people to have an outlet like you, and you are definitely an amazing resource. Go ahead.
If one thing people should take is that they can try different things, that just because something didn't work, it doesn't mean that that's the right way. So they can try different things and experiment with the new things, and that's okay, until they find what they are looking for. And they can reach out to me on my website at tumcool.com, on LinkedIn, Isabel Melgarejo. Where else am I? I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, my podcast, A Time to Care, the Caregivers podcast. So I'm everywhere, I think.
and you have a name that's not common, like Russ or Scott. So it should be easy for people to find you.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yes, we would definitely hope so, for sure. Yeah. I love that. And I encourage everybody to get in touch with Isabel and connect with her. That is so important. And she's there as a great resource for you. So, Isabel, thanks so much for being with us today. We're going to say goodbye on screen, but hang tight in the green room for just a minute as we wrap up. All right.
Good to
Thank
see
you
Isabel.
so much. This was fantastic.
Well, I tell you, Scott, it gets better all the time.
Yeah.
We have
Practical
the most
tips,
amazing guests.
She gives us practical advice. So many people, as they say, it's either you will be a caregiver, you are a caregiver, or you will need a caregiver.
Yeah. And I really think, honestly, from my experience, most people need a caregiver. I don't think most of us are really built for full-time caregiving. We're not. We're not trained. We're not educated. We're not ready emotionally. And Scott, I know that no matter where you are, and you know me, I'm Mr. Positive, upbeat person. But when I needed help, especially when the first round with me, when my dad passed away, I was reaching out and seeking, bringing in the hospice nurse, bringing in an extra caregiver, paying people to come in and help. And my family was around me. It was a tough time, and you need help. You just can't do it alone. So I just love all the steps she talked about, what people really need, and people need to think about that and seek out Isabel and people like her that can help you through those kind of situations. Right, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. It's some people are born caregivers, others have caregiving thrust upon them.
There you go. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, definitely find the resources. That's why people are out there. And then our sponsor, Aspects of Aging, the weekly talk show with my wife, Christine A. Smith, and that's Central Time at noon at agingbetternetwork.com. People can find all the details there. And as I say, Isabel has been a guest there. But go to her website, look her up, and connect with her on LinkedIn, because as we say, either you're going to need some help, or definitely somebody is going to be asking questions, and you can be the hero and say, let me get you connected with my friend Isabel.
Yeah, for sure. And the agingbetternetwork.com is going to show up in the comments any second. I know that. Here's the information about the show. Christine Smith, which you know a little bit, Scott, and she, great show with great people around that. Just go to agingbetternetwork.com. Again, that's going to show up in the comments any second. And we are just so thankful for great resources like that that can help you out. So yes, everybody's going to find themselves in that arena at some point. And so there it is for you. Isabel, again, was so amazing. There's all of her contact information, and just so thankful for all of you out there. Want to remind you, you can connect with Scott. You can connect with me. We got all of our information out there. It's ticking along the bottom, Scott and I and Isabel. And just really, what a blessing you all are. Today, go to local.theexperience.video for more information on all of the experience shows that Scott and I do. Together, we do the experience backstage before this one on Instagram only. The experience live with Russ and Scott Wednesdays, 7 a.m. Pacific. The experience local Mondays at 9 a.m. Pacific. And Scott has the Waco experience, which is, Scott, what's the time?
Yeah,
again?
the Waco experience broadcast on KBBW every Saturday morning at 8:30 Central Time here. But as a podcast everywhere, go to thewacoexperience.com. And you can listen to past episodes coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the show.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Well, we're so thankful for all of you. Just a reminder, without you, we cannot do this. Thank you to our sponsors. Gonna get rid of that. There we go. So thankful for Albany Habitat for Humanity, for Gina Deffa White. We're thankful for Nancy Bakke and Christine Smith and the Aspects of Aging, all of our sponsors. Also, do not forget that we are listener supported. You can scan the QR code or go to the link in the comments, and we would love for your support so we can continue to do this show. And we thank you. Every little bit counts. Thank you to all of you that make this possible. And thank you to our guests again. Isabel was amazing as always. And Scott, any last words before we wrap things up for today?
Hey, it's just great to hang out with you. And I look forward to the Thursday show. Russ Reels, that's 4 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. here in the Central Time. And tune in on all those usual channels and ask your questions of the panel about AI.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Until then, enjoy life and enjoy
the experience.
Woohoo. See you, everybody. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.